So AI is supposed to replace all jobs, right? I work as an AI engineer at a startup, and we just hired 2 software engineers. And in this video, I'm going to be telling you about why humans are still needed. So you still have a chance on getting a job in tech. So I'm RJ, the computer doctor, and I'm back with another video. If you guys don't know me, I work as an AI engineer at a startup. I also work as a full-time AI research engineer at the university. Here's what happened. We actually hired 2 software engineers in the past 4 months or so. One is a front-end engineer and 2 is a backend engineer. So if you're someone who's trying to find a job in tech and you're afraid that AI has taken over all the tech jobs, don't be scared, because at the end of this video, I'm going to be showing you everything that you can do to maximize your chances into getting a tech job in 2026. And I'm going to be completely honest with you. A lot of you might be thinking that AI is taking over everything. And yeah, it's taking over some things, but not in the way that you think. Here's what's actually happening. AI hasn't eliminated all the jobs. What it's doing is that it raise the bar for entry-level jobs. So before AI, you needed maybe 3 software engineers to implement some kind of feature. Nowadays, with AI, if you are familiar or you use all the AI IDE tools, you can pretty much implement any feature and it only takes an hour or 2 to implement it. So with one engineer with AI tools, it can do pretty much what 3 engineers could do at an entry-level pace. Instead of taking maybe a day or 2 to implement a feature, it takes maybe a couple hours for someone to implement like a map. So we ship multiple features in a day instead of just one. Companies aren't hiring for more of these entry-level positions. They're hiring people who are very specialized in one area. That's most likely the reason why fresh graduates in computer science aren't getting jobs. So the entry-level bar is actually at the mid-level bar. So here's the plot twist in this. You think AI has taken over a lot of jobs? Well, we still hired a couple new engineers. So why is that? If AI is so powerful, why did we hire new developers? Let me show you what broke in our code. At our AI startup, we are obviously using AI tools every single day, like Windsurf and Cursor, now Anti-Gravity by Google. We're building AI products. But there's very complicated problems that AI can't really solve right now. So let me give you a real example of where AI breaks down in this pipeline. So we would ask AI to implement this front-end feature of maybe rendering some text on the screen and build the whole web page for us. So there's some artifacts that come up when you are dealing with AI. Sometimes you get text overflowing from the divs. Sometimes you get things that are not rendering properly. Sometimes everything looks fine, but then when you click on the button, it just breaks. So then you, as a developer, have to go back to the AI. You need to explain the problem. Say, hey, this div isn't working, or the text in this div is overflowing. Can you fix it? So then it goes ahead and fixes the problem. And then it introduces a new problem for you. And that new problem is that the data that it's receiving from the backend, it's too large for the front-end page to render. And it really takes someone who's a bit more experienced in front-end design to know what to ask the AI in order to solve it. The solution for that is to implement something called lazy loading. So I talk about this in my development roadmap series where I explain things on being a front-end developer. You can go check that out if you want. But basically, lazy loading is when you are loading information on certain events that the user does. So you're not just loading all the data on the front end, making it slow. You're only loading certain things that the user sees at a time, which is optimal. So the AI doesn't actually see the front end. It doesn't know there's a problem. But you, as the expert in front-end engineering, you can identify when those problems occur. Ask the right questions in order to solve those problems. And you can suggest solutions. So here's another example from the AI engineer side, a role where you think AI would replace the most. So there's one particular example where I asked the AI to generate some machine learning model for me I gave it a paper, I gave it all the details that it needed in order to build a model. And then what it ended up doing was that it created a fake function with some mock-up data. When I went to use the function, it just sent me fake data. So it didn't really implement anything. It sent me mock data. And in the comments, it literally just said, this feature is not yet implemented. Here is fake data. Implement this in the future. Okay, so in order for you to fix this, you need to talk to the model, give it step-by-step instructions to tell it what to do. For example, you tell the AI to process the data, split the data into 80-20-20. That's the standard for splitting your data for machine learning. Then you need to tell it to train the model on these hyperparameters using this algorithm. And then you do a grid search on certain hyperparameters that you want to train the model on. And on top of that, once you have these different models set up, you need to look at the loss of what the AI is actually producing. And you need to learn how to interpret that loss function. And that's something that AI can't really do. It doesn't know how to determine whether an AI model is performing correctly or not, or if it's solving the business problem, or whether it is solving the problem in a time frame that's acceptable or appropriate for your web page. For an AI engineering role, that's a specific case where AI can't really solve. And you really need a human evaluator there to ask the right questions or to guide the model. So now you're probably wondering, AI raised the bar, I need to be better than before, so how do I compete? And this next part is crucial. So if we were trying to hire someone for backend engineering, and if we got two people, one who was an expert on everything, they had front-end engineering, back-end engineering, they had AI services on there, they had everything on there. And we had someone who was just back-end engineering. So every time I'll pick the one person who is a specialized back-end engineer. And that's exactly what we did. And here's the reason why. It goes back to one of the videos that I made in someone who is trying to open up a company like a restaurant and serving many different types of food. They have hot dogs, they got pizza on their menu, they got sushi. So this kind of restaurant is trying to please a wide range of people, but they're just showing that they're not really an expert in anything. But if you saw me someone who is obsessed with back-end engineering, who knows a lot about back-end infrastructure, tools, all they do is just back-end work, that's someone who is more looked at as an expert in that area. So that's a person who's going to most likely be hired. Okay, so let me break down some of these roles for you in order for you to know what to be an expert in depending on the role. Anyone in front-end engineering, if you want to be a front-end engineer and you are trying to look for a role that requires front-end engineering work, then you need to have some sort of design sense. You need to know how to put things together in a way that's intuitive for people to understand. You need to be very detailed oriented. You need to know how all the text on the screen needs to be the same kind of font. You need to know a little bit of color theory. You need to know about accessibility. I have a video about this on my channel that goes a little bit into that, on everything that you need to know in order to be a front-end engineer. If you watch that video and you become an expert on every single one of those, you will have no trouble finding a job if you can just go interview for as many front-end engineering roles as you can. And they might be thinking that you might not make a lot of money in front-end engineering also. That's a fallacy. You definitely can make a lot of money in front-end engineering. There's something called conversion rate optimization. People build front-end applications, their landing page is so good and trustworthy. Front-end engineers know how to get the customers to purchase things on the website. If you know how to build trust immediately with the customer, match the desire from whatever marketing that you're doing, you know how to do search engine optimization, that actually gets people to buy the product or service that the company that you're working for. You can do stuff in drop shipping. You can do stuff in just finding affiliate marketing. You can do so much in front-end engineering and make so much money in that space that I honestly think that maybe front-end engineers will make more money than AI engineers do. And if you are going to work at And of course, the hard skills that you need to know is basically just knowing JavaScript. You need to know a little bit HTML and some CSS. But honestly, if you're using some AI tools, you just need to know what right questions and answers to tell the AI in order to build the front end page for you. Things like knowing how to load images faster, knowing what I said before with lazy loading. These are the kinds of things that you need to know in order to be a good front end engineer. So if you want to be an AI engineer, these are things that you can do to bring up your skills in AI engineering. If you can clearly define things like a neural network from scratch, and you know how to design neural network architectures like a transformer, or if you know how to do convolutional neural networks and some diffusion, you know, all the concepts of machine learning, building the models, unsupervised learning, supervised learning, semi-supervised learning, understanding underfitting and overfitting for your losses, knowing what clustering is, knowing what dimensional reduction is. I have this full AI course on my YouTube channel that you can use to build your skills to be a better AI engineer. So check out that video if you can. And another part is just having the evidence of building AI systems. That's where someone like a front-end engineer and an AI engineer need each other. A front-end engineer knows how to build a landing page that gets people to convert to buy the product. There's AI engineers who know how to actually build the product, get something that people will actually buy. So in order for you to be a better prospect, especially when you're going into these interviews, is knowing all the concepts in AI, machine learning, but also having some projects to back it up on what you can build as a product. So backend engineers, what skills do you need? Backend engineers need to be pretty good in algorithms, knowing how to structure your database in an optimal way in order for the front end to receive data from the back end very quickly. You need to have the knowledge on what are all the different backend infrastructure tools that are available in order for your company or your website to utilize to make your life easier. And that's basically it. The last role that's pretty important is DevOps. DevOps are people who know the cloud infrastructure that is available. So these are people who know AWS, Azure, or GCP. A good indication of knowing that you are sufficient in these cloud infrastructures is that if you have a certification on your LinkedIn or resume, that really shows what you know to fulfill the role to be a DevOps. And DevOps are people who have knowledge on deployment. They can do CI/CD, which is basically setting up your project to be automatically deployed whenever things are pushed onto the main branch on GitHub. Okay, so we actually hired a backend engineer recently, and here's why. So I came onto the project and I built basically the entire thing. I was doing front-end work, I was doing the AI service, and I was doing the backend engineer. So I was doing the full stack of applications, and even so, it's just too much for me to handle. So then I suggested that we could hire a front-end engineer to take care of all the front-end work. I decided that the startup that we are actually working on, it's not really going the way I would have wanted. So I'm reducing my hours. I also let my teammates and my boss know. And then we hired a backend engineer to fulfill some of those tasks I was assigned to. And I'm honestly trying to pursue other opportunities in my life. One of them being growing this YouTube channel, providing value to others whenever I can. So my role in this project, I'm still affiliated with them. I'm answering questions on things wrong with the project or some high-level technical requirements they might have on any of the AI services. I'm still going to be available for them when they need it. Okay, so here's the thing. We could do everything with AI tools, but if we had all the money to hire more developers, we definitely would hire more developers. We definitely need someone who is deeply knowledgeable in their role to ask the right questions or to catch the AI when it's doing something completely wrong. So the constraint is money. It's not whether AI is taking over human job roles. So if you're watching this and you're thinking, okay, I need to be a specialist and I need to build projects, you're on the right track, but there's one more thing you need to know about. So here's what I think is going to happen, and I'm seeing this ever so slightly. It's becoming so easy for anyone to build their own company using AI tools. People can basically build websites with the features that they need, build an MVP, find market product fit, and all that. So what's going to happen? All of these entrepreneurs are going to be building up their projects. They're going to be receiving funding. A lot more companies are going to be coming out. So then they're going to be needing more developers that are specialized in certain areas. Here's what you need to do. You need to be someone who knows the right questions to ask the AI. You need to know what the AI could get wrong and what's common for the AI to get wrong. And you need to have deep expertise in the area or role you're trying to get a job in. And the people who are gonna struggle are the people who think AI is gonna take over their jobs. But if you utilize the AI tools that are available, you're gonna thrive millions of light years ahead from them. You just need to know how to leverage AI into your workflows and learn to use AI effectively rather than letting it take over your life like how everyone is explaining it as. Okay, so here's your action plan. Step one is that you're going to go to LinkedIn. You're going to find the job roles that you are trying to look for. This is either going to be front-end engineer, AI engineer, back-end engineer, DevOps, just pick one. Step two is you're going to build projects depending on the role that you pick. Don't pick 10 different things. Pick just one area to focus on. Learn everything that you can in that one area. If you think that you maximize, everything that there is to know in one area, you haven't built enough projects. You haven't built enough things in order for you to know what's available out there. And in step three, utilize AI tools. See what AI can do and see what it can't do. And then you are going to be that expert that fills in the gaps for the AI. So AI hasn't taken over software engineering job. And what it's done is changed what companies need. And what companies need are people who are utilizing AI, not the people who think that AI will do all the work for them. So if you found this video helpful, drop a like, subscribe. If you want to check out the developer roadmap series that I released on this channel, please do so. I'm postponing my AI engineer roadmap section to next week. Just for the holidays. This is just a quick video that I'm making for this week. So I hope you guys learn everything that you need to know in order to get a tech job for 2026. Hope you guys had a very great Merry Christmas, and I'll see you guys in the next video.